Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I have been struggling to find time to record this week, so we're just going to do a real little short, quick sit-down chat. I have supper made, well, supper's made, my food's cooking. I made the cheesy beef casserole, keto ground beef casserole tonight, and I gave that to everybody else. But then I run out of the veggies that everybody was eating with it. So I was like, well, I don't want just the meat with none of those veggies. So I'm going to leave this meat here. Plus, there's not a lot of meat left. And Henry may want more. I think that child's going through a growth spurt. He wants to eat. And protein is the best thing for him for that, because it doesn't run his sugar up as much. So I'm going to try leaving the rest of that meat here in case he wants it. And I'm going ahead and just reheating the rest of my lunch from earlier. And I'm going to eat that instead. It's got steak and potatoes and veggies in it, so takes care of my meat and veggies. I would love to eat this casserole too, but I didn't have enough of the veggies, and I didn't feel like cutting a whole nother cucumber just for me. So that's what we do for supper today. But we've just been busy these last couple weeks, lots going on. But so it's been busy. We've been really busy between home and work and church, and that's a good thing, but we've both been super busy with it. So things slowed down a little bit. Church-wise, just our regular things going on. So, which actually is one thing I need to do tonight before I go to bed, or I need to do it tomorrow, is I need to get my lesson ready for youth tomorrow night. That's going really good. I'm loving how the kids are doing with the lesson I have. We're doing an in-depth study on the gospel of about Jesus. So I think it's technically probably more of a Catholic curriculum that I ended up picking. But there's stuff in there to do with Latin and maybe technically not Catholic, classical for probably would be more for a classical education, I guess. But any of the stuff in it that has to do with Latin and all that stuff, I just skip over that. There's still enough between the card it has you read, the Bible scripture it has you read, and then the questions it asks. They're learning a lot. So I've just been focusing on those. Occasionally, the extra activity is something simple enough that we have time to do, and we do. Last week's was just a picture to color, so I think most of them took it home to do. So they've been doing really well with that. I have 3 kids in my class, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm seeing all 3 of them grow so much compared to where they were last year when they were in with the little kids. But they're not old enough to be in with the older kids yet. So it's been really nice to see. And they're doing really well with it. I'm already trying to think what I might do for them next year. Although I think one of them may move into the middle schooler class next year. I'm not positive. But at least one of the younger ones should be moving up to my class. So, and that, that's all dependent on if everybody comes back next year and, who all comes back, who we may be getting new and all that. So our high schooler class has grown quite a bit this year in the last few weeks. So hoping that sticks. And my husband does that class. But they're doing really well. And our little ones, like Ella and Austin, are in the younger class. And they're doing Fruits of Spirit right now. So they're loving that. So I need to get that ready tonight. But we had Henry's birthday, did a video on that. That took up most of the weekend. But we had fun, and we also kind of relaxed and just kind of chilled from most everything else. So that was nice. And then school-wise, things are going good. Last week, Henry has a very good attitude most days. He's my one that we have to work with on the attitude for school. And he had a very good attitude most days last week. This week has been fairly good. He's got his ups and downs. He's 9, he's a kid. I don't expect perfect attitude all the time. We're constantly working on the attitudes. But for school, the last couple of years, he's really struggled with his attitude for school. And he's doing way better this year, especially the last couple weeks. And last week, he was done every day before 2 o'clock. Yesterday, he was done closer to 4, but as long as he's done by the time Daddy gets home, he gets a good job from Daddy. And today he was done around 2. So, that's pretty good. I tried to tell him, if he structures himself and pushes himself, he can do it. And he always seems to get so much more out of his lessons when he does that. And I think he's starting to realize that. So, and he's also becoming more independent. I have added some more students to my classroom. So he's, having to become more independent, and I think it is encouraging him to do it with a better attitude, because before he's just like, but mommy's not teaching the others, so she can work with me right now. She just, she can't. And yes, I can, and I love to, but he does need to learn to be more independent with some of his things. Like I shouldn't have to read every sentence in his language lesson. So he's gotten much better about being independent. He will do his entire language by himself now. Most of his spelling and most of his math, but he does love that he gets to come to me for mental math. And he came to me today. He needed help with one problem. I completely missed, I was looking at the wrong page though. I thought he needed help learning a new concept for a whole lesson. So I was like, okay, well, why don't you set this aside and get something else while I do this? Turned out by the time hours later, when I had time to help him with it, and he had done a bunch of other stuff, realized it was just one problem at the bottom of the prior page, and I missed that. I was looking at the wrong page for today. So that made math much easier, and I could have helped him with that in the space of 2 minutes. I probably could have done it then, but I thought it was a whole page. He needed help learning a new concept. So that is probably going to come tomorrow, because it's fractions, learning about equivalent fractions. We haven't touched that at all, but I'm going to try to come to it with a whoo, and hopefully he will pick it up way better than I did, because I remember when I learned fractions, once I learned fractions, I loved them and I was good at them. But it took my mom at least a year, if not 2, to try to teach me fractions. She pretty much focused the whole year on fractions with me, because I just could not comprehend them at first. But once I got the very basics of them down, we were great and I was good. You forgot to give me a spoon. Oh, did I? I'm sorry. Right here. There you go. But so he's doing really good school-wise these last couple of weeks. He's getting to be more independent, but realizing he can still do things with me. He just has to wait till a little bit later in the day. And as long as he's knocked all the other stuff out that he can do, he can still get done in a reasonable hour. So we're working on that. And today, normally I've been putting their lessons on a whiteboard and they go wipe them off as they do them. But my whiteboard is now getting kind of full because I put the stuff up there that we all do together. Then there's Ella, then there was Henry, and then I have a new student. So her name was added. She's kindergarten, which normally I don't schedule kindergarten. But I was finding myself, with so many students, I was finding myself forgetting where we were at. So I decided to go ahead and schedule her out just a couple weeks at a time. That's what I'm going to do, maybe a month worth at a time at the most, so that I can write it down and know where I'm at each day. So doing that with her, because we definitely got to have her ready for first grade, but I think she's going to be no problem. She's doing really well with math, and she's getting her sound. I think she's getting her sounds down better than Ella did in kindergarten. So I'm not worried about it. She's going to be perfectly fine for first grade next year. And then the other one's preschool with Austin. So that takes a little bit longer. He doesn't like school, so we're working on that. But he's fairly good at some of the things that when he wants to do it, he can do it. But, we're working on that. He's still preschool. We got time to get him ready for school. And so him and Austin pretty much do stuff together. They got similar books. He doesn't have the exact books that Austin has, because I had got Austin's books a while back. For him, we just kind of went to Walmart and grabbed him some things. So, but we're taking care of that. He's got a couple of books that are the same as Austin, and they're loving doing their flashcards together. They think their flashcards are the best. So I've actually been working my day to where we start out, I read a chapter to everybody in the Bible. And then if Henry has Bible lesson, he'll do his Bible lesson, which his is usually Monday. Ella usually has Bible lesson 2 days a week. And my current kindergartner tends to actually join her for that. So Ella and the younger ones all listen to me read Ella's Bible story. And then Ella and the kindergartner will join her for whatever activity she's got usually while I get the 2 little boys started on something. Once the little boys are started, I start the kindergartner on something, and Ella will usually find something she can do. If she's having a lot of fun with her Bible activity for that day, she will stretch that out. Or she can do, if she has her writing book that day, she can do that no problem. Sometimes something in her science, or she'll just get started on her math and do anything she knows how to do that she doesn't need me for. She is getting very independent already. She will just look in her book and do whatever she knows how to do, and then we'll go over the actual lesson part for what I need to teach her, because she's still learning how to read. She's still learning some basic first grade math concepts. But she's doing really well with that. So I'm quite pleased with her independence. Sometimes she wants to be more independent than she can be for first grade. So I don't want her to lose that. But there are times I need her to slow down and wait a second for me so that I can actually explain to her what she's supposed to do. And she also sometimes will stop her stuff and take time to help me with the boys. Sometimes they want somebody to hold their hand and guide them to show them how to do stuff. So her or Cammie will sometimes do that. Once the boys are done their basic books in the morning, then I help my preschooler, kindergartner, finish up her stuff. She's only got like 3 books she's doing. She'll do a couple lessons in each book. And then she'll be done. I also have a book where I'm having her practice writing various family names or Jesus and love and God and things like that. Mostly to have her practice her penmanship. I write it and have her trace it for like a couple of days, and then she attempts to write it on her own. And that's what we do for each page. And so she seems to be enjoying that. And then once she's done, her and the boys go to play, and I focus a little more on Ella, in between correcting things for Henry or answering a question he might have here or there. Ella's usually done by lunchtime. Then I make lunch, and then I can focus a little bit more on Henry. Well, Ella's usually done by lunchtime. This last couple weeks, she now has Grandma Day homework. So she has been done everything except her Grandma Day homework, usually by lunchtime. Sometimes she can get that started while I'm making lunch. Other times, I just have her wait until after lunch, and then she does that. Henry has had a few days where he's completely done by lunchtime. But that means he has to take initiative on more things, like including history and things like that he normally likes me to read the big lesson part to him, and then he'll go and do the work part. So if he takes initiative with that, he can sometimes be done by lunchtime as well, except for his Grandma Day homework. And then, anyway, so then I finish up with Henry, and Ella does her Grandma Day homework after lunch. And I also, my preschoolers have a big floor book that I got at Sam's. I bought 2 of them. So I'll pull a page out of that same page, and we'll go over whatever. So far, we go over whatever letters on it. It's going through the alphabet right now. So like today we did F. So they had to trace a whole bunch of Fs, and then we flip it over, and there's something on there for, does each thing start with F? Today they had to color all the pictures to start it with F. So they think, some days they think that's great, some days they don't. But I also sometimes will get the kindergartner to help on that, because they'll be like, yes or no, just whatever answer they want to give. And she can maybe give me the correct answer. So it also kind of tests her knowledge if she sits there helping one while I help the other. We go over it together, but I'll guide one's hand or be pointing at his paper while she's pointing at the other one's paper. So that works well. It kind of tests her knowledge. And then we do flashcards, which they all love, especially Ella, first grade and down. So we do colors and shapes is one set we do. And then we're doing the alphabet, which tests the first grader as well. So I try to get her involved in that. She knows her alphabet. We're working on some of the sounds. There goes my food. Should be about done. I'm just going to turn the buzzer off. Let it sit for a minute. And then the last set we do is just a whole bunch of animals. And once I get them down to where they know all the animals, then I may expound on it, drawing Henry into it more, getting him and Ella more involved maybe on some of the stuff, information on the back of the cards. But for right now, they're learning the animals. And they're like different animals. There's a badger, beaver, coyote, a peccary. I never even heard of it. Spoonbill. Different animals like that you don't see every day. So, I mean, it's not just animals that they're going to know. It's animals they don't see every day. So I would love to do that and then expand on that maybe as they start growing through the years. Like next year, maybe they use those same cards, but we add some information from the back to it or something. I don't know. I'm going to try to figure that out. I've always wanted to do something with the information on the back of the cards, and I've never did it yet. So, and that's the majority of our school day. And then today, the kids had art today. They do art one day a week. I mean, they can sit and draw color anytime they feel like, but we have actual art one day a week. And we don't necessarily do what it says on there. We rarely do what it says on there. Like today, they were supposed to do a whole bunch of cutting and stuff with construction paper. I said, nope. I said, it was a fall tree, and they were supposed to use different colored construction paper and paste onto the tree and make it look out. I said, go draw a pretty fall tree. I asked them what colors were supposed to be on a fall tree, so they did their colors and stuff. Anyway, so that was what they did, and I read to them while they did that. I am hoping that the more we can get our actual lessons done early, then the more I can do that, because we really need to get going on. We started the year out really well with our school book list. Then we dropped off, and I got away. We haven't read much from our book list. I mean, we've been reading stuff, obviously, but not from our book list of things that I wanted us to read this year. So, going to try to get us back on that. Did today. We read 5 short stories from American History short stories book that I have that we had started a while back. So I did that. So we've been having a lot of fun with school, and I'm enjoying having my bigger class. I'm not their full-on teacher. Their mom is, but she has had to start working, so she kind of brought me their books, or we picked books together because she wasn't liking the curriculum she had, so she wanted to switch their curriculum anyways. So we kind of picked some various books together, and she's still the one in charge of their schooling, but I'm helping while she is having to work a little bit. And then we'll just go from there. Whether they stay in my class long or not, we'll see. But I'm enjoying it. I'm finding it quite fun. And they seem to be enjoying it. Do they have their squabbles? Yes. How many? I got 6 kids. 9 and under. So mostly my oldest and their oldest kind of butt heads some, but we're working on it. They're both used to being the ones in charge, I think. So we're working on that, and they'll get there. I'm trying to convince Henry into the fact, while the younger kids are here, so his younger kids have somebody to play with. Hold on, his meter's going off. Now see it, urgent low. He's eating supper. I just need his supper to kick in probably. We'll check on him in a little bit. He's eating. I can hear him in there. He's okay. But I'm trying to teach him the fact that, while there's younger kids here to play with the others, this is the time for him to maybe do some of his alone time because he loves his alone time. This is the time for him to do that instead of going to wherever they're playing at and fights break out. Trying to convince him, this is his time to go do some of the other things that he wants to do without the little ones getting in the way or messing it up. So we're working on that, and it's been being fun. He's learning a lot, I think, responsibility, independence-wise, but also that I'm still right there with him, doing it with him. And the others are definitely blossoming and liking learning together. And they're all very well wrapped up. I mean, I'll be doing some of Ella's learning to read stuff, and the kindergartner is right there repeating everything Ella says. So even if she's not looking at the book or looking at the paper and completely understanding it, she's still learning something, even with just that. Plus, I know she's learning with her books. So, but oh my gosh, I think that's been our week, last couple weeks in a nutshell. Austin has been working, and most of us were sick with some type of cold virus, I don't know. And Austin got it this week. He went and worked through it yesterday, and today he just couldn't. So rest of the day, he's now feeling better than he has in the last couple of days. So hopefully his sleeping all day today helped, and he'll be good to go tomorrow, hopefully. But so yeah, we've just been busy and working, but having fun too. So I'm hoping to keep this going and have fun. And I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm starting to get tired. But that's been our couple weeks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have ever had extras in class and how that worked for you and whatnot. I've often thought about maybe trying to expand my class a little bit, but haven't really known how or where to do it because I don't know. I know there are a lot of co-ops and stuff out there, but I've never found or heard of one that I really wanted to be a part of. So I've often thought of maybe trying to start something through my church or whatever, but I don't know. And it's probably not all that evident on here, but I'm a little shy when it comes to starting things, or like for me to just go up and start a conversation with somebody. That's actually hard for me. I have trouble with it. It took me forever for my husband to get me to convince me to do this. I love it now that I do it and whatnot. But yeah, starting a new venture like that, it's something that I've always kind of interested in. Honestly, even if I just do it with family, and then these are family that I'm currently doing it with. So, you know, we're family, helping each other out right now. And even if I expand it further, because I have 2 sisters that homeschool their kids currently. So, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to go ahead and end it here so my husband can edit it. And hopefully this weekend I'm going to get a little bit ahead for the next couple weeks. I'm hoping. We'll see. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.